Be me. Greater than 27 years old girl living in New York. Been with my boyfriend for 2 years. Pretty normal relationship, nothing crazy. But there's this one detail that ruins it. Like our whole life turned into some weird experiment. It started with this tiny habit of his. I never got jealous of other girls around him. I always felt secure enough to laugh that off. But I did get jealous of his mom. Yeah, sounds insane even saying it out loud. But the feeling was real and sharp. Like there was always a third person in our relationship. And that third person was his mother. At first I told myself I was just being dramatic. Made jokes about it, so I wouldn't seem crazy. Relax, it's family. It's normal, I said to myself. But little things kept piling up like puzzle pieces. And the picture I saw wasn't pretty at all. That's when I realized I was in for a test. Sunday night, quiet apartment, pasta on the stove. Garlic smell filling the kitchen, kinda cozy. He's at the table scrolling through his phone. Suddenly goes, "Wait, I gotta call my mom." I raise an eyebrow like, "Really?" He says it straight-faced, "She can't fall asleep without it." I laugh, thinking he's joking, but nope. He's dead serious. I always wish her good night. And man, it hit me in the chest. 'Cause he's forgotten to tell me good night before. But her? Never once. The way he said it, like it was sacred. I stood there feeling weird in my own kitchen. First time I thought, maybe I'm overreacting. But deep down I knew, nah, this is bigger than that. His phone rings while he's in the shower. Screen lights up, Mom blue heart, over and over. 5 calls back to back like it's urgent. I pick up, trying to be polite. Say, "Hey, he's in the shower right now." Her voice cold as ice. "Tell him to hurry, we gotta talk about our show." Hung up, and I just stood there, feeling like a stranger in my own relationship. Like they had their own little world without me. And I was intruding just by being around. That was the moment it stopped feeling funny. Started feeling heavy, like something I couldn't ignore. Kept asking myself, is this really normal? Or am I the crazy one here? My birthday rolls around, I'm kinda excited. Been dropping hints about this necklace I wanted. He shows up with flowers, sweet gesture. I smile, thinking that's it, simple but cute. Then he says, "The real surprise is tomorrow. Me and Mom picked out a bracelet for you." My stomach sank the second he said me and Mom. Like the gift wasn't really from him. It was from both of them, like a joint project. And I didn't feel special anymore. Felt like an extra in their bond. And yeah, maybe that makes me sound selfish. But deep down it just hurt, a lot. Made me wonder who I was really dating. Him, or him and his mom together. We're building IKEA furniture one weekend. Laughing at the stupid instructions. I ask him, "You like this wardrobe?" He doesn't even answer me. Snaps a pic and goes, "I'll send it to my mom, she'll decide." I just freeze there holding a screwdriver. Like, why am I even here then? Our place felt less like ours, more like hers. I swear in that moment I felt like a guest. Guest in my own apartment, my own life. And it stung way more than I thought it would. Couldn't even pick furniture without her opinion. My chest got heavy, like I was disappearing. That night, I just laid awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was what my future looked like. Me standing in the shadows, watching him and her call the shots. It was the first time I thought about walking away. Saturday night, we're out at a bar. Crowded, loud, friends laughing, drinks clinking. I'm finally relaxing a little, enjoying the night. He stands up with his beer, smiling wide. Says, "Let's toast to the best woman in my life." My face lights up. I'm ready to raise my glass. And then he goes, "To my mom." Everyone laughs awkwardly, some glance at me. Felt my whole body go cold in seconds. My smile dropped, couldn't fake it anymore. My heart just clenched so tight in my chest. Even his friends looked at me with pity, like they knew how messed up it sounded. I wanted to disappear right then and there. But I just sat there, forcing the drink down. Thinking, maybe I'm just not the one for him. We got home after that bar night. I couldn't hold it in anymore. Words just exploded out of me. I yelled, "You're building a life with her, not me." My voice cracked, tears burning my eyes. He stayed calm, almost too calm. Looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You'll never understand how important she is. She was the first woman who ever loved me. And the worst part? I couldn't argue with that. He wasn't wrong, not technically. But damn, it hurt more than anything. That night, I cried myself to sleep. Felt like I was screaming into a void. Like no matter how loud I got, no one would hear me. I wasn't being erased from pictures. I was being erased from my own relationship. and the silence from him was louder than my yelling. The days after that fight were heavy. I walked around like a ghost in our place. He acted normal, like nothing had happened. Me? I was breaking apart inside quietly. Every text notification made my stomach flip. Would it be me or her on his screen? I started avoiding the living room when he called her. Didn't want to hear him laugh like that anymore, because I realized I hadn't heard that laugh with me in weeks. My chest felt empty, like I was losing him slowly. And worse, he didn't even notice. Like my absence in his world wouldn't matter. He still smiled, still went about his day. Meanwhile, I was shrinking, fading into the background. That's when I knew this wasn't just jealousy. This was me fighting to exist in his life. A few days later, I'm cleaning up. Decide to organize his drawer, nothing serious. And there it is, a card tucked inside. Cute design, hearts on the front. Inside it says, "To my one and only man. Always yours, M." I just froze, staring at the handwriting. M. It was his mom. Not romantic, not sexual, but still. The words hit me like a gut punch. I realized I'd never be the one and only. Never be first in line with him. My competition wasn't another woman. It was the woman who gave him life. And how do you win against that? I sat on the floor holding that card. Felt smaller than I'd ever felt before. My hands were shaking, couldn't even breathe right. In that moment, I knew my spot in his world. And it wasn't the place I wanted. I started asking myself hard questions. Am I selfish for feeling this way? Or is this just me wanting a normal relationship? I mean, maybe someone else would call me dramatic. Maybe they'd say I should be grateful he's family-oriented. But my heart just couldn't see it that way. Every day it felt like I was fighting for scraps. Scraps of attention that should have been mine. He could forget me, ignore me, brush me off. But never her. And I couldn't shake the jealousy, even if I tried. That's when I thought of leaving for the first time. But leaving someone you love isn't that simple. You start bargaining with yourself. Telling yourself maybe tomorrow it'll change. But deep down, you already know it won't. One night, I finally broke down to a friend. Told her everything, every little detail. She just stared at me, half shocked, half sad. Said, "Girl, you're basically the side chick in your own relationship." Those words stung more than I expected. 'Cause deep down, that's exactly how it felt. Like I was always coming in second. Always competing for a spotlight I never got. My friend said I should leave him. But my heart wasn't ready to hear that yet. I kept thinking, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this is just me being insecure. So I went home, tried to brush it off. But that card from his mom haunted me. Those words replayed every time I looked at him. And I couldn't even look him in the eyes anymore. 'Cause all I saw was her shadow between us. Then came her birthday dinner. He made reservations at a fancy spot uptown. I thought maybe we'd go together, make it a nice night. Nope, he went with her instead. He even dressed up in the suit I bought him. Texted me later, "Don't wait up, I'll be late." I sat on the couch staring at the wall, realizing my boyfriend dressed up for his mom, and left me home alone like an afterthought. My hands itched to pack a bag that night, but my chest felt too heavy to move. Felt like I was drowning in someone else's love story, and I wasn't even a character in it. Just background noise filling the silence. The night stretched on forever, cold and empty. By morning I knew something had snapped inside me. Days after that birthday dinner were rough. I barely talked, he barely noticed. He'd come home, drop his keys, call her instantly. His face would light up in ways it never did with me. I started to wonder if I even mattered at all. Like if I disappeared, would he care? He still ate the food I cooked. Still slept beside me every night. But his mind, his heart, they weren't here. They were with her. Every laugh, every smile, every moment of joy. I wasn't part of it anymore. I felt like a roommate paying rent with emotions, but never really living in that space. Every day chipped away a little more of me, until I wasn't sure who I even was with him. Then came the final straw, a quiet Sunday morning. I opened his laptop looking for a recipe, and there it was, emails between them. Not romantic, not dirty, just intimate. Like the way couples talk when no one's watching. She wrote, "Don't ever let anyone come between us." And he replied, "Never will. You're my forever." I stared at the screen until my eyes blurred. Felt my chest cave in like a building collapsing. It wasn't about cheating, it wasn't betrayal in that way. It was worse. 'Cause this bond wasn't breakable, not by me. It was me fighting against blood, history, years of devotion. and I knew I'd already lost before I even began. I shut the laptop, sat in silence for hours, my mind replaying those words like a broken record. That night, I finally told him everything. Voice shaking, hands trembling, but I let it all out. Told him I felt invisible next to her, that I couldn't keep living in second place. He listened, calm as always, almost too calm. Then he said, "You're exaggerating, she's just my mom." The way he brushed it off cut deeper than the truth itself. Like my pain didn't even register as real. I wanted him to fight for me, to prove me wrong. Instead, he just shrugged like nothing was wrong. My chest burned. Tears poured out before I could stop them. I begged, "What about me? Don't I matter too?" His silence told me everything I needed to know. And that silence was louder than any argument. Louder than any scream I could have thrown at him. That night, I knew I was done pretending. The following week felt like walking through fog. I went through the motions, but I wasn't there. Cooked dinner, folded laundry, shared a bed. But my heart had already checked out. Meanwhile, he stayed the same, unbothered. Still calling her every night like clockwork. Still smiling at texts that weren't mine. I'd sit in the corner, staring at my phone, wondering if I should just pack and go. Wondering if maybe I really was selfish. Fighting for something that never belonged to me. Late at night, I'd scroll breakup forums, reading stories of women who felt the same. Each one hit too close, like they'd lived my life. And the more I read, the more I knew. This wasn't going to get better. A couple nights later, I couldn't sleep. Tossing, turning, chest heavy with thoughts. I finally sat up, looked around the room. Everything in there felt like it belonged to her. The furniture she picked, the bracelet she chose. Even the little phrases he repeated from her. Our space wasn't ours, it was theirs. I whispered to myself, "What am I even doing here?" And the silence that followed was deafening. No answer, no comfort, just truth. I grabbed my pillow, went to the couch. For the first time, I didn't want to share a bed. That distance felt like the only thing I controlled. And it actually felt peaceful, for once. Peaceful to imagine a life where I wasn't competing. Where I could just be someone's number one. Then came the moment I couldn't avoid anymore. I packed a suitcase quietly one morning. Heart racing, hands shaking on every folded shirt. He noticed and asked, "Where are you going?" I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Either it's me, or it's you and her." His face dropped. He stepped closer, hugged me tight, whispered, "I'll never be able to choose." My chest caved in hearing those words. 'Cause deep down I knew he was telling the truth. He wasn't cruel, he wasn't lying. He was just locked in a bond one could never break. And the moment he said that, my choice was clear. I pulled away, zipped the suitcase, grabbed my keys. My legs felt weak, but my heart finally felt free. I walked out of that apartment shaking. Every step down the hallway felt unreal. Like I was floating outside my own body. The suitcase wheels echoing off the walls. Part of me expected him to chase after me. To say something, anything, to make me stay. But the hallway stayed empty, silent. Just me and the sound of my footsteps leaving. Outside, the New York air hit me cold. I stood there with tears in my eyes, watching cabs pass, people living their lives. And I thought, damn, I just lost him. But then another thought followed right after. No, I didn't lose him. I lost a battle I was never meant to win. And maybe that was the point all along. The first nights alone were brutal. Laying in a new bed that felt too big. Every sound in the apartment echoing louder. I kept reaching for my phone, wanting to text him, to hear his voice. But I forced myself to stop every time. 'Cause what would I even say? I miss you, but I can't compete with her. No text could fix what was broken. So I sat in the silence, forcing myself to breathe. Some nights I cried until morning. Some nights I felt weirdly calm, like I'd escaped. My heart was heavy, but lighter too, if that makes sense. It's a strange mix, grieving someone who's still alive, and trying to convince yourself you did the right thing. Weeks passed, and slowly I started healing. Little routines became mine again. Coffee in the morning without waiting for his call. Music playing loud while I cooked for myself. I caught myself smiling at small things. A stranger holding the door, the sun hitting the window. It felt foreign at first, but also freeing. Like I was finally living my own life again. My friends noticed the difference too. They said I looked lighter, even when I was tired. And yeah, I still thought about him sometimes. Wondered if he ever missed me, even a little. But then I'd remember those words. I'll never be able to choose. And that reminder kept me steady. 'Cause I deserve to be someone's choice. Not someone's second place. Not someone's background character in their story, but the main one in mine. One night, I sat down and wrote it all out. Every detail, every memory, every moment that broke me. Writing it felt like pulling weight off my chest. By the end, I looked at the pages and thought, this isn't love, this is survival. And I didn't want survival anymore. I wanted love that didn't make me compete. Love that made me feel seen, wanted, chosen. For the first time in months, I slept peacefully. Woke up without that heavy ache in my chest. I realized healing doesn't happen overnight. But walking away was the first step. And maybe one day, I'll find someone who won't make me fight for the basics. Someone who knows exactly where I belong and never makes me question if I matter. Looking back now, it almost feels unreal. Like I lived in someone else's story for 2 years. I don't hate him. I don't even hate her. I just hate who I became in that situation. Small, insecure, begging for crumbs of attention. That's not who I want to be anymore. Leaving was the hardest choice I've ever made, but also the one that finally set me free. 'Cause love shouldn't feel like a competition, especially not with someone's mom. Now I know my worth, even if it took breaking first. And I'll never let myself be second place again. So yeah, that's my story. And maybe some people will call me selfish. Maybe others will call me strong. Either way, it's real, it happened, and I lived it. And I'm curious what you'd do in my shoes. Would you have stayed and tried to accept it? Or walked away like I did, even if it hurt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if this story hit you, support with a royal sub so you don't miss the next one.